Good afternoon. I have had several people ask me to please continue doing the diabetic thing, and my daughter told me I needed to get my dead kazinkas off the chair and start doing them again. So I thought today I would get my dead kazinkas off the chair and start doing some things again. I guess I've been having a pity party. Sorry about that. If you notice, my voice has gotten kind of off the rails. The doctor says it's probably a side effect of the autonomic dysfunction where my nerves are dying, and there's not a lot they can do about it. So my voice goes from normal to almost so hoarse you can't understand anything I'm saying. So I thought, well, since nobody ever tells me what they would like me to talk about as far as giving them information about the diabetes, I would just kind of do a day-to-day thing for my life. Since this week my thing seems to be the autonomic dysfunction is affecting not only my voice but my blood pressure. Most of the time my blood pressure is below 100 over 50. This morning I was 89 over 47, and so it makes for a interesting day, to say the least. I have the tendency to want to stand up and tip over, which is what gets me into trouble. That's when I break things. But anyway, my sugars have been pretty good for the last week. Don't know why, but they've been good. The blood pressure's been a little low. The doctor gave me a prescription for a medication that's new, that's supposed to make your blood pressure go up. And so it took them a while to get it at the pharmacy because I guess it's a new medicine. Anyway, when it came in, it had two of the parameters to make it impossible for me to take, which is it had a dye in it and magnesium stearate, which I'm allergic to both. And I'm really allergic to it if they're together. And it was pink, which is in the very red family. It had red number 4 in it, and then the magnesium stearate. And so I didn't even try it because I wouldn't know if I was allergic to the medicine or just the red dye and the magnesium stearate. They're trying to see if they can figure a way to compound it so that it doesn't have the dye, but apparently it was in a clear capsule and it was pink, so the powder was pink. Go figure. Anyway, other than that, the weather's been kind of iffy, which has a tendency to give me a headache. With all the storms that are going on and everything, the barometric pressure is up and down like crazy, so I tend to have a headache most of the time now. Although I don't know if it's just from that or there's other things involved. It could be, you never know. Anyway, I went to the eye doctor this morning. I still have a swollen retina in my left eye, but it's better than it was. And next Thursday I go back and see the other eye doctor, and he's going to tell me how my glaucoma is doing. And then 2 weeks after that I go back to the other eye doctor, and he tells me how the retina is doing. So I just see these eye doctors all the time. But anyway, so you see what my life is: sitting and watching the boob tube and seeing the doctor. And the doctor gave me a new prescription this morning for glasses because apparently my prescription that I have, which I can't see anything with, isn't any good anymore. So I need a new prescription. Aren't we so lucky? Yesterday I had a great day. I was going to go out and go to the grocery store because I actually had a blood pressure that was 100 over 52, and so I figured I'd do some driving. And so I went out, got in my car, turned it on. It started running bad, and the check engine light came on. So my neighbor came over with his trusty dusty little code reader and checked the code, and lo and behold, it said there was a problem with cylinder number 4. So he followed me up to the mechanic up the street, and because they could get me in, and they checked it out, and apparently Lexus doesn't have spark plug wires, it has coils. And so the coil was bad, and it was bad to the tune of $400. For the part was like $238. The rest of it was labor and taxes. What do you know? And then they had just changed the spark plugs, but I guess it must have messed the spark plug up too because they had to change it. But because they just changed it, it was under warranty, so I didn't have to pay for a spark plug. So anyway, so now my 2004 Lexus RX 330 is running very well again. We love that car. We can get in and out of it. And it's a nice car. It really is. So in the 21 years, I've probably put about $7,000 into it to keep it in good condition. I had to change out the valley plate back a couple, 3-4 years ago. Anyway, that cost a lot of money, believe me, but I like the car, and there was nothing else wrong with it. They went through it then. So anyway, so much for the car. As you can tell, the room has brightened up all of a sudden. That must be because the clouds have moved and the sun's out again. I mean, the clouds come and go. It is what it is. Anyway, the little dog is laying on my chair watching me. But let's see. If you're diabetic, you need to keep a good eye out on your eyes because they not only help you see, but if you have a problem with diabetes, you can have diabetic retinopathy, you can have a detached retina, you can have the diabetic neuropathy will cause the blood vessels in your eyes to bleed, or you can have a little tear in the retina and that makes it bleed as well. And so you can have, I don't know how common it is, but when I had my cataracts taken off when I was 50, the doctor told me that I had sugar cataracts and that they were quite beautiful, apparently. I know that from my side they were beautiful because if you got out in the sun you had lots of prisms and rainbows and stuff. So for me it was very illuminating, but it also made it very hard to drive, especially at night, because at night that's where you get the halos that are rainbows and all kinds of sparkly things. But they when he took the cataracts out and replaced the lenses, they told me that my vision wouldn't fluctuate like it did. I think he lied because it still fluctuated. And then I kept telling him, everything looks cloudy, it's gotten foggy out. And he looked in my eyes and he goes, oh, we're going to have to use a YAG laser on you to clear that up. and they did that, and it cleared right up. But there's just, all kinds of neat things that can happen. You get dry eyes. A lot of people get dry eyes, but diabetics do it too. Probably a little more than other people. I also have had a convergence insufficiency. That's where you can't cross your eyes. I was working as a hematologist, and so I had my face over a microscope. This was back in the 70s. They didn't do a lot of computerized stuff with hematology back then. Now they read the slides by computer, apparently. But back then, you did them manually. And so out of an 8-hour shift, I would probably spend about 6 hours looking through a microscope to see what was on the slides. And I got to where I would get through and couldn't focus on anything. Everything was way out of focus. And so I went to the eye doctor, and he said, "Oh, you have a convergence insufficiency." He gave me all these exercises to do to strengthen the muscles in my eyes so that they would get better. And I went back about a month later, and I got worse. And then he gets to looking and everything, and he said, "Well, when you spend all that time on the microscope, and then you're doing the exercises, and when you came in today, I had worked an early shift, and so I came in after I had worked. My eyes were tired, and they were in the outside corners back out here instead of in here." And he said, then he did some other testing, and he said that the problem wasn't that I had a convergence insufficiency. It was that I had diabetic neuropathy of the eye muscles. And so doing the exercises wouldn't help it. It would make it worse. So to quit doing the exercises. So you see, diabetes can cause trouble with nerves everywhere. Not just your eyes, but your arms, your legs, your hands, your feet. That's where diabetic neuropathy comes from the sugar fluctuations that damage the nerves. And since I've been a diabetic now 69 years, the fluctuated blood sugars that I've had for 69 years have damaged the nerves now. Now, I don't have a lot of feeling in my legs at all from the hips down. I don't have a lot of feeling in my arms from the shoulders down. I have stubbed toes and didn't even know they were broken. So you got to be really careful. I check my toes every morning just to make sure I haven't gotten up in the night and stubbed it and didn't know it and broke it. I've cut my fingers and not realized they were broken until there was blood everywhere. So you have to be a little on the careful side when you have been a diabetic for any length of time, because even a diabetic that's well controlled will have diabetic neuropathy. I know a lot of people that have neuropathy that don't have diabetes, but apparently diabetics are more prone to it. Now, with the autonomic dysfunction, the nerves to my vocal cords have a problem. The nerves to my heart have a problem. And apparently the nerves to my eyes are getting worse as well. So it is what it is. And now I've got to quit having the pity party, according to my daughter, and start getting back on YouTube and making videos. So I thought I would start today. If anybody has some questions or something they would like to ask about, please do so. I mean, I have a lot of knowledge. I just don't know what to do with it. And if somebody asks me a specific question, I can answer it. And I want to tell those people who kept encouraging me to continue doing this to thank you. And I'm glad I'm back for you. And send me a shout out. Tell me hi. And we'll talk again tomorrow. And please tell me what you'd like me to talk about. Tell me what you'd like to know about. I have no problem talking about any of it.